This meeting is being recorded.
Welcome to She Talks, a series where we talk to women who are independent, strong, driven by purpose, women who are vulnerable, scared, who've seen failure, who've also seen success, real women with real stories, and their stories inspire. Hi, my name is Richa Sinha, and I'm the founder of She Wealth, a platform for financial education of women. She Talks is an initiative of She Wealth where I get to share time and space with amazing women. Join me as I welcome a very special guest today, Snehal Chaitanya. Snehal has an interesting story where she's pivoted multiple times, started off as an engineer, and now founder of a company called Wheedle. We'll get to know more about what Snehal does, what her company does, but let us first join her into the call. Snehal, hi, welcome, and thank you so much for doing this with me. And really excited to know you because we've known each other for a while, but maybe more as part of a larger group. So we're not really personally connected in the past, and which is why I'm more than excited to get to know you today during this podcast. So thank you and welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much, Richa, for having me. I have seen your earlier podcasts and videos, and you're doing a great job. So I'm really excited to be on this show today.
Thank you. So, Snehal, whereas we are definitely very excited about what you're doing and your startup, your social media pages are a delight to just scroll through. But before we get to know the business that you're building, we would like to know the person that you are. So take us back to your childhood. Tell us where you were growing up, where you were born, how you were as a kid.
Uh, I am from Pune. That is, people are aware of Mumbai, and Pune is a sister city of Mumbai. So I've been born and brought up there. I did my schooling and my engineering in Pune as well. And it was only for the job that I left Pune and came to the startup capital, that is Bangalore. So growing up, I have really fond memories. I had a fairly regular, normal, happy childhood. I have very good memories of from my school days. Here, I would like to state that as children, I think schools are the places where we tend to spend a lot of our time growing up. So being around teachers and friends have a very big influence on us, and that way, I think I've been very lucky. I went to this very nice high school called Nyan Prabodhini, which is well known in Pune, and it is a school with a very strong social angle as to how students are, future citizens, and they are responsible to do good in the community, and that had some sort of an impact, and I think sowed the seeds that maybe even I was not aware of at that time. So childhood was fun. I made friends for a lifetime coming from those schools and those institutes. I did my engineering in COEP, which is again a very good government college in Pune. And the fun part of that college was it had a boat club. Now that is something which is quite, I would say, rare for colleges in India.
Yeah.
And that was like the highlight of getting into that college. Again, studies, I think I was fairly good. And I'm an eternal learner, so I enjoy learning about
But
new things.
as a kid, tell me what were the subjects, let's say, you enjoyed? Were you very clear from the very beginning that you wanted to become an engineer? And why at all? Why did you want to become an engineer?
I think I was fairly clear what I didn't want to become, and I could see that subjects which needed maybe a lot of attention to detail, like for example biology or a lot of research, I liked stuff that was maybe logical, or so maths and physics were kind of I was more inclined to, and that's how I decided that I think engineering is for me more than medical. And I think it is too early in 10th or 12th to decide the path for your life, for the career for your life. But these small indicators were good enough, I think, to make the decision that engineering is for me.
Yeah. Tell me, Snehal, something about your family, your parents. What kind of an influence did they have? Because when we look at the journey of a founder, we sometimes realize that a lot of those seeds were maybe sown way back in their childhoods. Maybe your upbringing influences you. Maybe your parents, or maybe you would have had. Business people around you. What was it? What were those very early influences in your life? Who were those influential figures?
Right. I mean, surprisingly, we don't have a entrepreneurial bone in the family, I would say. Both my parents were working. So I grew up, one thing I think that was quite prominent in the growing up journey was independence, that, make your own decisions. And because parents are working, a lot of time children figure their way out in terms of small things. That was one thing. And the other seed, if we look at, is probably confidence. And they were very keen that we get all kind of exposures, not just academic. So we used to travel a lot. We used to visit libraries together, book exhibitions. So those kind of things, it is like they made the whole spectrum available, that you can choose whatever you want and just ensure that you own up your choices. So I think that way the seed was sown, I would say, where making your choices and sticking to them is something that definitely was a part of growing up.
Yeah. So, so you were this kid who was good at studies, was kind of clear at what she wanted to do, was definitely had a fair bit idea of what you did not want to do. So and then you became an engineer, which I think was uh, for kids growing up in the 90s, I think there are two, three very common career options. You become an engineer, you become a doctor, or maybe, you become a CA after uh,
Right.
college. So, yes. So, so far so good. So you became an engineer. What after that? So you were in Pune for your engineering. Was there a point you stepped out of Pune? When was that? What how did you okay, let's start from right after college. Did you get placed in Pune? What kind of jobs did you pick up?
So I graduated in 2001. So I did land a good software company in my campus interview. But then this whole 9/11 thing happened. And if you remember that particular batch or one, two batches around that, the joinings were delayed. So we were left with this 1 year of gap where you had a job offer in hand, but you weren't actually joining the job yet till they figured out, what to do next. So that 1 year, I think, was like a wake up thing. I was still in Pune. I had learned Japanese again. As I said, I loved learning things. So that was a taste of hustle that I got there, where I just said that, okay, this is one skill that I have and I can use immediately. So I tried being a Japanese translator for about 7, 8 months and really enjoyed that. Met some interesting people around there. And through that Japanese connect, then landed like a small software engineer job to fill my time till the actual big company in Bangalore called us. So that is how I
It's
have never stepped
interesting.
out of
It's
Pune up
interesting.
until then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very interesting when you say that, because a lot of people will from the age group that perhaps we belong to will understand, will remember what happened in the early 2000s around 9/11. And
Yeah.
yes, placements were affected for people who were passing out of college at that
Right.
point. So you had a 1 year gap, and whereas you could be sitting at home because just out of college, you're again young, you could be sitting at home, or you could have been maybe just hoping that your company would get you to join in soon. You did not just sit there waiting. You actually went on and you learned a language, and you then started working as an interpreter. I'm curious and it's no surprise that when COVID struck, again, perhaps, instead of a lot of people who were just baking breads at home, you perhaps started a company. So I think there's something in you which does not let you just sit and dwell on situations. But the moment I think you see some free time, some disruption in life, maybe it just triggers something within you to try and explore a different side of whatever career, or just something new that you can learn or start, which is incredible. And I think there are a lot of people who could be like young folks watching this, and it's a great idea, because whenever you happen to have a gap year, whether it is between education and starting your professional career, or even when you are a working professional and you've taken a break, or perhaps there's so many layoffs and so many things that keep happening, maybe it's a forced or voluntary break that you have in your career, it's a very good idea to try and learn something new, because that way you can also justify that, okay, yes, there was a forced or a voluntary break that I had, but then this is how I utilize. So it's a very great idea. And with so many online resources to learn from today, I think there's no dearth of learning material and opportunities. You just have to have that willingness. So yeah, I mean that's one learning that I take from your journey, Snehal. And like I say, people are different and journeys are different. Your journey could be very different from mine or from anybody who's watching this. But there are certain life lessons which are very universal. And that is what I try to derive out of these conversations that I have with people. So of course, so that's one big learning. Tell me now that you 9/11 has subsided, and then companies are getting back to, the world is getting back to normal. So you join your company, and then you work as a software engineer for a very long time. How was that? Did you enjoy working as a software engineer, as a corporate employee? How's that journey?
I would say I absolutely enjoyed it because, one thing that we sometimes don't notice, but the huge amount of learning opportunities that joining a job provides you, because there are always people who know more than you, who know different things. And that is something I absolutely enjoyed. Uh, Being a young child in Pune who had never left her hometown, traveling was big on my agenda, and I think that is one fantastic opportunity that the corporate job provided. The Japanese skill took me to Japan like within the first year of joining my job, and I was like, I would say, a deer in headlight moment for me to be in a different country all by myself, where I just knew the language but nothing else. So these kind of experiences shape who you are. And then I got a few more opportunities to travel, and that's how I think pretty much a large part of my corporate career I spent in London, because I met my future husband at my work, and then we both traveled and were there for about 10, 11 years, and recently like made our journey back to India.
Okay. So you had a comfortable life. You were married. You have children now.
Yes, I do. I have two boys.
Okay. So you are well settled in life, from the conventional thinking. You were
Right.
married, you had children, you were working, you're traveling the world, uh, and you loved your job. Now, when did you come back to India? What year was that?
We came back in 2014, around the time when we were expecting our second one.
Okay. And so did you come back with the intention of taking a break while you were, having your second child? What was it that, or did you come back and you had a job to, get back to?
Yeah, so I did come back on a maternity break, which means after my break was over, I had a job to go back to, but I took a call to like quit and look for a job, probably that better suited my timings. One thing I would like to add here, Richa, is we always say that we come back, we travel abroad and we go somewhere and then we come back, but my husband and me, we look at it as just moving countries, because there is so much that is changing in India that it is very difficult to find the same old coordinates that you were used to maybe 10, 12 years back before you left the country. So it is actually setting up everything from scratch. So it was like moving to a new country and setting up life there again. Yes, we had phenomenal amount of support thanks to family and friends. But that is something that I would like to add here, that with things
I
changing,
agree.
technology changing,
Yes,
it is just
yes.
moving countries instead of like, it's you can't go back to that particular time or
Yeah.
place again.
Especially, when you come, to the same country after a long period of time, like, you were
Yes.
away for 10, 12 years. So
Yeah.
yes, I mean, in India was a different country by then. So did you come back to Pune? What city were
We
you in?
came to Bangalore. I mean, we
Okay.
before we left, I was already working in Bangalore, so that had become like my second hometown, I would say, and I absolutely love this city. So it was a no-brainer when we decided we have to move. We knew we will be back in Bangalore.
And you've been in Bangalore since 2014
Yes.
till now. Okay. Now, so you came back, and after your second maternity break, you again went back to your corporate work life, that you were comfortable with. You had your engineering degree that was still supporting you in your jobs. Now, when was it then that you started to think of doing something on your own? When did that entrepreneurial bug bite you?
So I think the whole coming back to India or moving to India kind of sowed the seed again, I would say, of doing something, because when we came, there was First Cry and Amazon had started doing doorstep deliveries. But if you think of second-hand buying or selling, there was nothing much other than probably OLX and some local Sulekha kind of classifieds. And I didn't want to set up a nursery of all first-hand products because I didn't see the point in spending so much knowing that I won't need it again. And I found that whole looking for good second-hand quality stuff a bit difficult outside of the expat circle. And that time I just thought that why can't things be more easy? And then I left it at that. But I think after COVID, when my sister had her baby, she went through the same set of problems in spite of a lot of things that had changed around logistics and e-commerce and everything. So that is
Okay,
where I thought,
so I'll just interrupt you here, because I would want you to tell us first what your company does. What problem are you trying to solve? Because I just got a sense of what you're doing, but then I would want you to just go back and tell us a little more about what Wheedle is into and what is it that you're trying to do.
so Wheedle is very simply trying to make second-hand buying and selling trustworthy for parents. So today it is a very unorganized space, and I feel that especially for children's item, our kids grow out of things very fast, but we end up spending a lot every year to provide them variety and then replace the items that they have outgrown. So buying second-hand items, especially during their growing up years,
So
is makes
are
more
these toys
sense.
and games or clothes or furniture? What kind of items?
So Wheedle offers pre-loved products from 0 to 10 years, and it covers everything from mom to be till your child is into sports equipment like rackets and skates and cricket bats and those kind of things. So we cover the whole journey of growing up, starting from 0 months. So your cots and cradles and swings and rockers and high chairs, and then all the way up to bicycles and sports equipment.
So a customer can buy as well as sell on your platform. Am I right?
Yes, yes,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. And how long have you been doing this?
It has been a short and sweet journey of 18 months so far, and we are primarily in Bangalore.
Okay. Now, I'm amazed at the foresight, because so you had two children, and then you saw other kids in your family, and that is when it struck you that maybe this is something that because when we buy these baby furniture or cribs and high chairs, really, I mean, they don't have a life of more than 1 year. There's no utility, and then we're just
Correct.
struggling to keep them, either store them somewhere or just give it away to people, and or just scrap them. So a platform like this, which allows you to buy and sell, it's so great to also, stop wastage. Because of course it's a waste of money, but it is also a waste of so many items which are blindly just getting produced and then scrapped for no reason. So that is awesome. Tell me, when did you leave your corporate job to do your business full time?
So I have been lucky to have a co-founder, and she has ran her business before. So I kind of had help in the setting up the company and all those kind of things where I could manage this and doing a full-time job. But then came a point around 2021, late 2021, September, October, where we realized that this needs more of our attention and it is becoming probably big enough to, not two-time things. So that is when I decided it was time to give Wheedle full attention. And September 2021 is when I left my corporate job. I was with ANZ at that time in Bangalore, and yeah.
How difficult was it to let go of that salary?
Uh, I mean, one word answer, it is very difficult. It is a leap of faith, and you've been used to a certain kind of life and security, having a corporate career. So it was not easy to take that call, but
But
that had to be done.
but tell me, Snehal, what would you we understand that when there's an idea brewing in your head, and then you're so passionate about seeing what possibilities lie in front of you, you want to give it your all. But if you were to advise, say, just assume you have a younger sibling or a cousin very close, and they want advice from you. Because we are different people when you're doing something on our own and when we're advising to others. Now, if you
Right.
were to advise somebody who is working, well settled in a job, comfortable, but wants to try their hand at entrepreneurship, what would you tell them
Right.
are, two, three things to keep in mind before you take that plunge and leave your job and move into your business full time? What are certain things that one must ensure before taking that plunge?
So I will tell you how I went through the whole process, and those are my learnings of this. One thing is, it is good to have a safety net and think about what they call your affordable losses. So when you start, you should know that this is the farthest I am willing to go with this journey, and there is wisdom in knowing when to stop. So the whole people tend to get blindsided by the glamour of startups, but I think it is very important to have this practical, feet firmly on ground kind of attitude where you should know that what it is going to cost you, and it is not just monetary. It is in terms of your time, your energy, your mental health as well. That is one side of it. So go into it with your eyes wide open. Don't get blindsided by the glamorous part of it. And the second thing I would say in favor of going for something is, sometimes regret stings harder than failure. So having tried and failed, at least for me, is better than having not tried at all and regretting it every waking day of your life. So if you have that safety net and have that opportunity to take that leap of faith, definitely do it, but do it with your eyes wide open.
Yeah, so well put. Because yes, I mean, in the past 5 years, I think this whole startup scene in India has become very glamorous and very cool to do. And there is this. That's a great thing. I mean, it's a great thing to explore, because you get to start something. Building something on your own is a different kind of high altogether. And I agree when you say that, sometimes regrets are some of the heaviest burdens you carry all your life. But then you do it, just don't do it purely based on emotions, but then think through it, maybe work out a certain fund. I would say, perhaps, if you have an idea, try and hustle with that over the weekends or maybe after work hours. Try and see how that's working. Do it for 6 months or a year. If you still feel that you have the interest, or it's giving you some return in some form, monetary or satisfaction, I think then gradually move into doing it, but then have your finances, worked out before that. You should have an emergency fund which at least supports you for 1 year, because you will not be earning immediately when you start your business. So those things are important.
I would like to add something here. I think something that women are more mindful of is our age plays a role, in the sense that there are added responsibilities in terms of kids or a few other things that you need to be mindful of. So, if possible, you can choose to start early, because taking that leap of faith and having that bandwidth to experiment is more. When I would say, if you choose to start early, and then you can probably have your backup fund a lot smaller than what you need to have it when you have kids and schools and stuff like that. I mean, not to sound like pessimistic here, but this is the practical angle of things when you see what are your, incomings and outgoings.
Yeah, the stakes are that much higher when you're as you grow older, for men and women both, actually. Your
Both, absolutely.
responsibilities
Yeah.
keep getting only increase with time. So
Correct. Yeah.
yeah, so the earlier you want to experiment, the better. But then, well, having said that, age is never a barrier. You can start at
Yeah.
any age, just because you're in your, because I honestly, I see a lot of people in their
40s and plus,
40s.
yes.
Yeah, because so people who've worked for a while and maybe are at that midpoint in their career
Yes.
or life, and that is when they start to itch to do something on their own, which is
Yeah.
great as well. So
Yeah.
Snehal, now now that we're talking about something here around managing your finances, or around taking an informed decision of moving into your business full time, by if you are leaving a job or anything. Tell me something. How has your relationship with money been over the years? What kind, did you grow up with a lot of money around? Did you grow up in a middle class family? Did you grow up with fewer means? What kind of an upbringing, into financial upbringing, did you have? And do you think that has an impact on the way your relationship with money has developed?
Uh, I would say we had a very comfortable childhood. I don't remember wanting things because I can't have them. They were always, I think, and there is some comfort in knowing that as well, that sometimes because you can have it, you don't get into that desperate need sometimes that, I really want it. I see my friend having it. Why can't I have it? But touch wood, and I'm thankful and grateful for those years where we didn't have to go through that phase. And over the years, when you become financially independent, you become more, I think, prudent and mindful about how you wish to spend your money, what are the boxes you want to take, how you want to save. So, my relationship with money has been that it has been an instrument of freedom. It has not limited life decisions in any way for the want of it. At the end of the day, it is a means to an end. And as I said, I'm grateful for the opportunities which have enabled me to be like comfortable financially.
Awesome. Okay, Snehal, we'll do a little rapid fire here. So I'll just keep throwing questions at you, and we keep your answers brief. And so we just want to understand how you feel about a certain things. All right.
Right.
Okay. Tell me about your most expensive purchase
The house.
besides the house, because that obviously becomes a very huge
Uh,
expense. Yeah.
all right. I would say the second car. I would say definitely that's been most expensive.
Okay. Your happiest purchase.
The second car. It is expensive, but I'm so glad that I got it. Yeah.
Okay. Uh, an expenditure that you regret.
Annual gym memberships. I am not learning from my mistakes, and I do this mistake over and over again and regret it again. But yeah, uh,
All right. Uh, okay. Uh, Now, just a hypothetical situation. If you could have a celebrity who could, you could choose any celebrity from India or outside who would endorse your brand, who would you choose?
oh, that is a tough one. But definitely moms who are, starting their motherhood journey and are conscious of the environment. So I think Alia Bhatt is taken already. So my next bet would be on Deepika.
Ah, okay, interesting. All right. One good money habit that you have that you're proud of?
Saving.
Saving. How about investing? That is a better habit.
It is definitely, but I mean, I absolutely agree with you. It is if you save, you have enough to invest. So,
Yeah,
like saving as in opposite of spending everything.
yeah, well, all right. A bad money habit that you want to get rid of?
Being sometimes penny wise and pound foolish. So it is always good to have a big picture in mind.
Mm, great. What is your guilty pleasure? If let's say you've just won $1 million, you inherited $1 million from somebody unexpectedly. What would you do?
I know this was going to sound lame, but I spend a lot on books and travel. So I think those are the two things that I might end up splurging on.
Mm. Tell us about uh, some of the great travel places that or maybe holidays that you've been on and you would recommend to people. Places wherever, within or outside of India.
I would firmly root for India because that is one country that provides you everything you wish for in a holiday, be it beaches or mountains or snow or backwaters. So travel as much as you can in India. Northeast India is like a hidden gem. It's one of the most beautiful, clean places in India to visit.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I think there's a village in Meghalaya which is also declared as the
Clean.
cleanliest village in Asia. It starts with an M. I don't remember Maila Gong or something. I know I'm pronouncing it wrong, but it's something like that. People
That's
might
the
want to
reason
just
I'm not saying it either. I've visited it, but I know I'll pronounce it wrong.
yes,
So
but it's something
yeah.
like Maila Gong. If you even Google that, you will get a spelling autocorrect and you will
Yes,
figure out.
it's in Manipur, yeah, and it's a beautiful place to see. Yeah.
Absolutely. Uh, Tell me something. To what degree does
So
money?
sorry, I need to correct myself. It's in Meghalaya. I just Northeast and I spoke about Manipur. Sorry about that. It's Meghalaya.
Yeah, it's Meghalaya. Right,
Yeah.
right. Uh, okay, I give you two options. Yeah. I can either choose one and tell me why you would choose either of these. I can either double your wealth today, or I can make you half your age with all the wisdom that you have today. What would you choose? Double the wealth at your age, current age, or half your age with the wisdom and intelligence you have today.
I will sign up for the money. I have no regrets the way I've grown up or the decisions I've made. So I'm happy where I am. I'll take the money. Thank you.
Congratulations. Great. Uh, Tell me now, just the last question around money. To what degree does money control your happiness?
As I said earlier, money gives me the freedom, and happiness comes from that freedom. So, money is definitely instrumental in ensuring that I get to do things that make me happy. But at the same time, it is not means to an. It is not the end. It is a means to an end. So, it is important. You should be prudent about it, and be grateful when you have it.
Great, great words of wisdom from you. Snehal, now, just as a last question, you're a woman entrepreneur. You're an entrepreneur. Let's keep it at that. But do
Right.
you think women entrepreneurs behave or work differently from male entrepreneurs? Have you ever felt that?
Uh, at the risk of sounding typical, I would say yes, but in a positive way. I think we are more practical and we are more grounded. So we tend to take a 360-degree view sometimes, which is not required, but we think think things out a lot more than men. So I would say we make better entrepreneurs that way. The only thing we should do better is thinking big. We tend to hold ourselves back for no reason. And that is something that we should definitely work on. Sky is the limit, really.
Any parting words of any parting advice to women who are mulling over perhaps an idea, an entrepreneurial idea that they have, and but are unsure of experimenting or trying it out? What would you just say to them? uh, any bit of advice from somebody who's worked as a corporate professional and then moved into entrepreneurship full time now. So somebody who's still, perhaps working or could be a homemaker, has an idea, doesn't know what to do with it because it's a scary thing to venture into. What would you tell them?
I would say if you're passionate enough about it, you should go for it. Ensure that you build a ecosystem around you that supports you in this journey. And entrepreneur or not, one thing I would like to stress is financial independence is a very important thing. That is something we should start teaching our daughters or our girls from school. So be mindful of that in any decision that you make, entrepreneurial or otherwise.
Thank you so much, Snehal. It was lovely talking to you. And,
Thank you.
definitely there's so many points in your life journey from where people can draw out lessons or inspiration because, even though you are working in a particular field or an age and space in life, but there are many universal things that, that can be learned from your particular journey. And I'm so thankful for you to have shared that with us today. So thank you so much. And it was lovely chatting up with you.
Same here, Richa. Thank you so much for having me and would love to do this again. All the best for your venture. It is doing a great job. Thank you.